Hey, how are you doing? I'm Vasco Duarte, your host on the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, and I've got some exciting news. So, right now, as I record this, I'm holding in my hand the signed contract for our very first Global Agile Summit. We're all in, and I couldn't wait to share this news with you. So mark your calendars, May 18th to 20th of 2025 in Tallinn, Estonia. We're going to have a transformative experience. We're putting together an event that it's all about real-life Agile. It's not theory or buzzwords. It's practitioners sharing what's working, what's making an impact, and how they've overcome challenges that you too will have to face, or maybe even facing right now. We're bringing together the best stories in Agile, from product leaders to engineering wizards to business visionaries. These will be stories that will inspire you to action. This isn't just another conference. It's a chance to connect with the people that are shaping the future of Agile. And here's the best part. Right now, we're in our super early bird phase. And that means you can grab tickets at just 25% of the final price. Look, that's not just half off. It's half off of the half off. It's an incredible deal for our dedicated community members, just like you, listening to this right now. So at the summit, day one will be all about hands-on workshops. And days 2 and 3 will dive into leadership, product strategy, coding, testing, and everything that makes Agile thrive in organizations right now. Remember, these are all first-person, real-life stories. Now, whether you're a leader, a developer, or part of a consulting company, this event is built to take your Agile game to the next level. So don't wait. Go to globalagilesummit.com and grab your ticket today. Let's all make 2025 the year Agile truly transforms your teams, your business, and our industry. I'll see you all in Tallinn. And remember, go to globalagilesummit.com and get your super early bird ticket right now. It will only be available until the agenda is announced. So don't wait. Grab it right now. Right, now that that's out of the way, on to the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to one more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. And this week, joining us from Finland, in fact, a neighborhood near where I live, is Ville Reijonen. Hey, Ville. Welcome to the show.
Glad to join you.
Absolutely. So Ville is a seasoned agilist and pattern enthusiast. He's co-authored 2 books, one on distributed machine control system patterns and another on Scrum patterns. Very apropos for this podcast. I'm sure we're going to talk about patterns for sure. I'm a big pattern fan as well. And he's continually discovering patterns everywhere he looks. Currently, he empowers individuals and teams as a freelance coach by creating focus and understanding. Ville, that was a short intro. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and how did you end up becoming a Scrum Master?
That's a while back, actually, becoming a Scrum Master. It's a path anyway, but sometimes you get a title, but it's a learning path anyways. So 2008, there was the financial crisis, at least here in Finland. And then my girlfriend, nowadays a wife, just lost her job and was searching for a new one and just got one from other city, and just before the door of opportunity closed. And then we were traveling back and forth for half an year. I was like, okay, I think I have to move. That it doesn't work otherwise. So and at that time I was working as a researcher at university, and I was doing software methodologies courses and software and etc. And I was kind of, what's the marketable skill I have that I could get a job in this market? Okay, IT was quite hot that time still. Linux in mobile phones was quite good market opportunity also. And I knew Linux quite well at that point. So that was my way in. It was not my first job, because that was a joke. It's kind of, you are going to have the first job, real job after being the university. I've been working in IT before my university career. So that wasn't the first time. So I kind of knew what it is. And so I got a job in this area, and I landed in this kind of case where we had a remote team from India working with some local people who were more senior, and I ended up kind of doing a lot of things around not actually implementing anything, but tooling, creating helping guidelines, documentation, everything to kind of get the team forward. And that kind of came into Scrum Mastering role quite fast. So, and that's kind of always in a remote setting, you kind of always burn one person to keep this remote team working. So I ended up being that guy in that sense.
I would argue that there's always one person doing it in teams that work very well. It's probably different people at different times, but there's always one person trying to keep the whole picture together, of course. And as we do, as Scrum Masters, try to keep the whole picture together, we sometimes also blunder our way into problems and failures. And of course, today here on the podcast is Fail Monday. So we want to explore that question, Ville, the question of failure. Not because we like to dwell on failure, but rather because the stories are informative and we can take away from that lessons learned that all of us can apply before we need to make the same mistake. So, Ville, first let's go through the story. Tell us the story first. We'll dive into the takeaways later. But what was that story of failure you have to share with us, Ville?
So, a while back, still being a bit younger Scrum Master, there was a system renewal project, which itself is kind of failure mode. The smell of failure mode if you have a system renewal. There's always legitimate reasons for it, but most of them are not. You just want to renew something. And well, in this case, there was this person there's quite a few people who were unwilling to work with this product owner. And this person was...
How did that reveal itself? Like, how did you assess that? Oh, there's people who don't want to work with this.
They just absolutely said that they are not going to work with this person.
Okay, that was obvious then.
That was obvious. I was like, okay, so it cannot be that bad. I was thinking, I'm kind of guy who can manage and discuss and be in relations with people. I'm kind of joyful person usually, and try to be that to other people and kind of get great discussion. So what came out is this was highly opinionated product owner, and this person really didn't ever listen to anybody. He had really strong opinions and was following those ones. And that ended up being a case where there was no victory condition, really. The product owner had the suitable amount of power which the product owner should have. But this case, that was also failure mode. So we had this system renewal, which means that usually it's big bang release always, because you cannot, there's existing system with just a lot of functions.
In fact, that's a pattern, or one would call it an anti-pattern, right?
Yeah. and so the launch came, and a storm of complaints came with the launch, and to my memory, something about 20% of customers were lost because of the system, how it was at the launch. So the high opinions were creating quite a lot of distrust.
What do you think created that dynamic? Okay, so system renewals are problematic, period. Right? Like there's very little upside on a system renewal. There's always the hope, but there's very little upside in reality. So of course that makes it already difficult. But in this case, we have a team that wasn't necessarily very happy to work with the PO. I'm sure that made communication and even agreements very difficult. What else was contributing to this system renewal failure in your mind?
So I think that was the biggest, because you couldn't learn on the way anyway. The big bang was the big bang, really, which came the big wave of feedback. The people who said they are not going to work with this person, they didn't work with this person. So the team was people who were willing to work with this person. So that was not so much the case. But even the team members told this person that this is not something I would like to have as a customer, the product owner still didn't listen. So what my learning is that sometimes you cannot save people from themselves. Mm-hmm. Some people are sometimes in wrong role. You cannot make them fit the role. So and that's kind of further thing is kind of like when you have when you can choose the fights which you can fight and you can win. So if you spend a lot of energy in some fight you are going to lose anyways, you wasted a lot of energy. So if there's something else which has bigger impact, spend the energy on that one.
Yeah. So I guess one way to describe this project from your perspective is that this was a fight I could not win.
Yeah.
So how do you handle that though, Ville? Because that can be extremely frustrating and demotivating. So what did you learn about yourself and about the Scrum Master role when we find ourselves in this kind of situation?
I was trying and trying to the end. that was my job. I was trying until the end. And after the launch, when we get the feedback, I was prepared in that sense that we were able to fix some of the stuff for the next day. But it still was too late.
So when I think about this story, I'm imagining that I'm there in that particular case, and I've been in enough system renewal projects to know how that feels. What I'm thinking is that as a Scrum Master, I'm thinking, okay, so we want to go live with this system, and people have insisted for whatever reason, and the reasons in the end don't really matter, have insisted that this be a big bang release. Can we at least get some beta customers? Can we get some
beta customers in this case, but the amount of beta customers was not significant enough and didn't make enough noise for this product owner to change their opinion.
And that's one of the things that I would also think about is, can we get some, I would call them antagonistic testers. So there's some testers who are just impressively good at finding problems. And they are equally impressively good at describing the consequence of the problem, right? Because, sometimes testers are really good at finding problems, but they describe the problems as an engineering problem rather than a customer-facing problem, right? So I would look for people within the organization that are able to create this image of the actual consequence of the problems. And so that as a mitigating factor, right? Like try to create this I called it antagonistic because the idea is that you really want to create tension in a collaborative way, right? Good tension, not bad tension, but you want to create tension because that's what drives thinking. Because when we create tension, then the PO has to think and they have to argument for keeping a problem in the system rather than just saying, we won't fix it, right? Like that there needs to be that need to create a conversation or even a discussion and if necessary even a constructive argument about it. How do you see that? Like if you were able to go back and replay that story again, what were some of the strategies that you might have used in that project?
I think I tried to have that one. So that's a sad story in that sense that everything I tried, nothing really stick. So I tried to create a conversation like as a user, what the proto users, what they are telling, all that kind of discussion. But in this case, the opinions were so high valued for this person that they didn't really listen to anybody else. And that was the learning case that even I was talking with different people, what I could still try, what was something I could still, how I could make a small impact so it wouldn't be so bad. And that was the sad part, nothing stick.
And maybe that's a set of patterns we can look into and publish. But sometimes it is true that sometimes product owners are just in a world of their own. They don't listen to anyone. And therefore end up with system renewal projects that end up crashing. All right, Ville, there was no, how do you call it? There was no happy ending to this story, but still a very informative story. So thank you for sharing that, Ville.
No problem, thank you.
We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.